Hi, my name is Simon Gigi. I'm the CEO and founder of Cashback App, and today I'll be taking you through the problem we're trying to solve and how we're doing it, right? And I'll do so with through the eyes of Jane here. Please meet Jane. Jane is a 33-year-old public school teacher and a mother of three, right? Just to paint a bit of picture, Jane lives in a one-bedroom apartment in Githurai, which is a high-dense neighborhood in Nairobi, and she uses public transport to go to work. And if you look at her earnings, really she earns minimum wage, and she's a primary provider of her family. And because of that, it's really paycheck to paycheck for her, which is the case for most households in Africa. About 55% of spend of Jane's spend really goes to food and groceries. 25% goes to rent, which is sort of inverse of what you'd expect in other markets. But in Africa, a big chunk goes to food and groceries. 15% goes to clothing, and 5% goes to incidentals. Um, as you can see, she barely makes any savings, and when she does, it most likely is wiped out by emergencies like illness. As you saw in that budget, there was no allocation for healthcare, which is more or less most of the case in most of those households. And it's sad and unfortunate that most of her income goes to food and groceries instead of advancing herself in life. Um, so what can Jane do to solve this problem, right? She can make more money. That's one of the biggest solutions. Make more money, but it's a bit tricky because she's in public sector. Wages are always stagnant. What she's more likely to do is borrow, right? And access to credit, of course, is a challenge, and also is expensive. But that's what she's more likely to do. The other big chunk of bucket of solution is really reducing expenditures, which we are more interested in. And she'll have cut expenditure of non-essentials and move to cheaper goods, right? But if you look closely at Jane's shopping basket, and the data I'm showing you here is live data from our solution, and now we have a lot of information about consumers and really understand them so well. That basket is not made up of that many categories in terms of spend, and in fact, 85% of that budget, shopping budget, is really food, personal care, and laundry, right? And in January, that was 78%, but because of inflation, it has gone up to 85%. And that's the impact of inflation. And the reason I'm showing you this data is to show you that 85% really is taken up by products produced by top FMCGs like Unilever. I think Unilevers of this world, P&G, Nestle, Colgate, etc., and some local big ones like Ajab and Kappa who do cooking oil, right? Um, but that FMCG also has a bit of a challenge, right? The FMCG is mainly interested in engaging Jane, but it's a bit of a challenge trying to reach them so that you can engage the Janes of this world. And the reason that is the case really is that they are a couple of steps away from the consumer, and they need to go through a massive and inefficient value chain to get to that consumer. Going through this distribution value chain is not in itself a challenge. The challenge comes when you want to engage the consumer, to reach that consumer. And it's super inefficient to run below the line kind of marketing to that consumer, think of promotions to grow your sales. And about 80% of all retails, especially in Africa, happen through informal retail, right? The other big challenge that disconnect presents, it's really hard to collect data and insights about that consumer and how they are buying your products and how they are buying competitor products, so that you can understand them better, improve your offering, and retarget them much better. Um, and the way they are currently solving those problems is in terms of engaging the consumer, informal retail supermarkets, they run promos. And sometimes those promos are kind of inefficient in that sometimes that discount never gets to the consumer. It's eaten up by the value chain, specifically the retailer. And then for informal market, really, they don't have a solution. They don't run any direct consumer initiatives, and that's where we come in, right? The second problem of understanding the consumer, they really need to hire consumer good, market research firms who send an army of research analysts to go and collect that insight. And that happens every 6 months, 12 months. And honestly, data becomes stale and might not be as useful if you do it in that kind of periodic intervals. It's inefficient and it's time consuming, right? The consumer good companies runs a risk of losing touch with the consumer, and also their brands becomes irrelevant, right? So, and that's where we come in. We build solutions to connect the two, right? Our solution sits with the consumer, and the consumer good company is able to plug directly to the consumer, and they are able to run promotions, and the shopper saves money through cashback offers. These are coupons, classic coupons, but on mobile, right? And the consumer good company is able to grow sales and collect very valuable insights, which I'll show you, which you saw earlier. That's from this tool, right? And we're able to do this both in informal and formal trade. In informal trade, this is supermarkets. How we do that is we have this app. You just show photos on offer, take a photo of your receipt. Our technology is able to decode, to extract that whole receipt. That's the data that we collect, and the guy gets cash back. You can use it to buy shopping, airtime, data, etc. By doing so, you're giving the FMC the ability to market direct to the consumer. In the informal trade side, we have a point of sale system where retailers in that area can use it to manage their shop. But when the shopper comes to buy the item, if the shopper pays by mobile money, we're able to verify that purchase. The shopper gets discount. We are able to collect point of sale quality data, which the consumer goods subscribes to. And that's really the solution. The people we target on the consumer side is really the Janes of this world, middle to lower income people, minimum wage people. They control their budgets. They'll spend about $30 to $50 per shopping trip, but they'll come multiple times in a month because they get paid by wages. And this is majority of the Kenyan market and the Nigerian market, actually. On the consumer good company, the paying customer, we never charge the consumer anything. The paying customer is a consumer good company, and there we target the sales and marketing directors, and we are looking for really very competitive categories, ideally 2 to 3, number 2 or number 3 in that category. They're trying to get to number 1. They spend a bit in marketing. They also spend a bit they've already spent something on data and insights. So they understand the problem and what they're trying to do. And these tend to be international FMCGs and also big local ones. And it's about 80% of the market. In terms of traction, we really launched last year. Now we are 330k downloads, about $5 million of value of receipts scanned. We always top 10 in the top shopping apps. So consumers love us and FMCGs love us too. And in terms of the market, it's a massive market. We've started offline retail. This is groceries, which I've just described. Next year, we are adding online retail concepts, online retail solution. And then as we understand the consumer, we'll layer in fintech solutions like payments, pay via cashback app, save via cashback app, and really expanding to bigger markets, Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt. And that's where the opportunity becomes massive. So I'd like to ask you to join us in this journey. And we think there's a lot of value that can be created for both the consumer and the FMCG. And we're looking for investors and partners to get us to this dream. Thank you so much for listening to me. And looking forward to engaging with you further. Thanks.